JISRA is really an interfaith consortium with 4 international partners, faith-based international partners and secular partners, Search for Common Ground, and Tear Fund UK Netherlands, Mensen met een Missie, and then Faith to Action Network. And in the 7 countries, we have 48 national partners. And I use the word national and not local, because if we talk about power shifting, I don't think we should talk about local partners, but of national partners. And since we are here in Kenya, maybe better to focus on Kenya. In Kenya, we have 10 partners that are CICC, and I think Gloria is here, well, maybe not. IRCK, Kekoske, Kimia, Muhuri, SUPCAM, CYU, Faith to Action, Mensen met een Missie, and Search for Common Ground. And this JISRA program is a strategic partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Netherlands. And it is a partnership under a special framework, and the framework is Strengthening Civil Society. And we are under the Power of Voices program. Power of Voices, it already says it, it's really about strengthening the voices in the countries with partners at global level. It is really to give everyone a voice. But also JISRA is giving the communities a voice, giving the religious leaders a voice, giving the women the voice, giving the youth a voice. So the Power of Voices program is really incorporated in JISRA. So Power of Voices, oh, you don't see it. Oh, and no one says me anything. Oh. You are listening with attention. Well, that I really appreciate. What's going on?
Joe.
What can I do?
Speed like
From beginning. We start my day. There we go. So, well, joint religious action. So, sorry, I didn't know that. So, JISRA, well, what I already said, the Kenyan partners, it's an interfaith consortium, a freedom of religion and belief program, and a strategic partnership signed with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And it is a part of a framework of the Strengthening Civil Society Power of Voices program. So, Power of Voices and power shifting, that is really a word that is now everywhere. It's a thematic area that is everywhere. In NGOs working with national partners, it is within governments, it is within universities giving a voice to the students, it is within communities listening to the women, listening to the youth, listening to elderly, it is in schools, it is everywhere. But it is not so easy to do it. And also within JISRA programming, from day one on, we have been working on how do we do that, give power to all the different voices. So if we look at it, you can see it, but I can't see it. It's interesting. So during the co-creation stage, there has been a lot of participatory approaches. So when we heard, or when we started to work together with Search for Common Ground, Mensen met een Missie, Faith to Action Network, and Tear Fund, when we looked at, okay, which countries are we going to include, then immediately we went to the countries, started to work with all the partners that we were envisioning to contract, to see, okay, how should JISRA look like within the country? And some of you who are here present have been working on that actively. But Power of Voices is not only, of course, during the development stage. It is also during the implementation stage. It is during the evaluation stage. It is during lobby and advocacy agenda. It is during a knowledge and learning agenda. It is at communication level. It is everywhere. And what is a big thing as well within JISRA, that is the power of voices at the different levels in the program. And what you see, and I think that is quite unique for JISRA, but also for the other Power of Voices program, is that the governance structure at international level is also mirrored at country level. So in Kenya, for example, all partners, 10 partners, they are part of an executive body of JISRA, and they are part of a supervisory body of JISRA. They have all different working groups where the partners are present. That is the same structure as we have at international level. So the decision making on the country annual plan, on the coordination budget, on the lobby and advocacy agenda, on how do we, what kind of messages do we want to share, everything is done at country level. Not only in Kenya, but also at the other 6 countries. That brings us, of course, that is not only among partners. You are all working with stakeholders. And what we said, we have to give a voice to all the stakeholders as well. And not based on consultation, because we all know when we sign a program or when we develop a program, it is, okay, what do we think, what does the government think? Or what does the community level think? No, in JISRA program, in each country, the important stakeholders and representatives of the target communities are part of the governance structure. So they are part of the supervisory board or advisory board. And they are consulted during the whole program period. Also including for review meetings, including their feedback, so that we can incorporate that when we draft again the annual plan. So the voice of the stakeholders are incorporated in the governance structure. Then what we also see at country level, but also at global level, that we like to share capacity. I hate the word capacity building, because that seems that someone has knowledge and we are going to share, or we build someone's capacity. No, in the Power of Voices program, you share your capacity with others. You share your knowledge, you share your experience. And that is really anchored in this Power of Voices program. We have knowledge and learning agendas, we have that at country level, we have it at global level, we have review meetings, and everyone is there. And the budget at country level, maybe the partners think, oh, we would like to have some training or more knowledge on a certain topic. They have their own budget and they can organize it. So to try to give as much as possible the autonomy to the country. Then a very big issue, of course, if you like to have power and if you like to hear your voice be heard, it should be accessible. It should not be too difficult to have your voice heard. And that is why within the JISRA program and at country levels, we try to be as much as possible low profile, so that everyone can join and can have their voices heard. But we also try to organize that. So we said, for example, to the countries, try to come with a certain percentage of youth that should be included in the governance structure. A certain percentage of women that should be included in your governance structure. So that at least you also reach out to them. And that you have mechanisms in place to be able to reach out to them and to include them. And that brings me to the next part, that power shifting, it's always a bit like, okay, the international donor or the international organization is going to use localization to work in the countries. While we said the moment you have your governance structure in place, the moment you have your own space to have your voices heard and to implement the program, to design programs, then it is as well about power sharing. Because within the governance structure, or within working together as partners, within working with the communities, it is about power sharing. It is about sharing each other's voices, hearing each other's voices. So that is a bit the background of JISRA. And this is also a journey, because it's not an easy task. And it is also something that has to be every time on top of our minds. And this morning, when we were asked to look at what was an interesting idea or has something interesting that we have captured from Face to Action, then I said what I really like about Face to Action, that they at each step ask, so what about the partners? Are they included? What do the partners think? Have the partners been consulted on this regard? Where is the partner? And that I really like from Face to Action Network. Not only that, of course, but if you look at this program, I really appreciate that. And that is all about power sharing. So this is what we are envisioning in JISRA and what we try to do. And as I said, it is a journey, and everyone has his own task in that journey, but also you. Maybe you are not part of JISRA, maybe you are part of another program, maybe you are here because you are a religious leader, so part of your community. You are part of a society, you are part of your own organization, whether you are a council or whether you are an NGO implementing programs. So we all have to do with power. And this afternoon, we want to make it more personal, not talking about, okay, an NGO working on localization, but what do we do in terms of power sharing and power shifting? And we also said or invited you to look at those wishes that are also wishes that, are within your own span of control. I took an example that maybe, we think that one of the presidents should be changed. That is not really within our span of control. Well, of course, we are all voters, but you know what I mean. Yeah. So looking at your own environment, working environment, maybe in the society, your communities, and we have seen many, many wishes. And there are several wishes related to inclusion. And what we are going to do, we take some wishes out, and then we ask someone to clarify or maybe to share a bit why you posted this wish. And then we will wrap up. And hopefully with those wishes, might also help you to continue in all the important work that you do and to take this power sharing into consideration. So wishes related to inclusion. We have seen wishes related to include women, youth, young clergy, minorities, leadership of women and youth in all the programming aspects, in discussions and in power relationships. Stephanie, do you have one that you... Yeah. This is a wish: empower young women with leadership skills. Who posted this? Do you know, or which group? Maybe all of you did. Does someone like to clarify? I think it's very clear. I think it's very important to get to be an actor really in the situations where there is leadership, powerful power relationships. So this is one of the wishes related to inclusion. We also saw that it is very important for the people who are currently in power, and honestly speaking, we are all in relationships that we have power. And we are all in relationships that we might feel a bit powerless. Because we have several roles, very many roles every day in work, but also in your family life. And what is a wish that was posted is that the current people in power, so that is all of us, in different angles, from different angles, that they should put, or invitation to put themselves in the shoes of the people who don't have power or who feel powerless in that situation. And Stephanie and I have been traveling last week. We went to the coastal counties and we spoke with many of the stakeholders and also some of you here. And elections was really one of the topics that was addressed every time by the deputy commissioners, by the OCS, by the religious leaders, by the youth, etc. So the power, the influential power that faith leaders have is very important. And also here now in Kenya, with the upcoming elections, we, as Mens Medimisi, but JISRA, but also all the other partners, we can see that everyone is really willing and want to strive for peaceful elections, but also a peaceful transition. And that is all about power sharing. It's all about listening to each other. And I really hope that this session, that we asked you to reflect on power, reflect on situations where you were with power relationships, but also that you are conscious of those situations where you have the power, to use this reflection also in the work that you are doing, in the important work that you are doing as influential leaders, as partners, as organizations, as actors of change. And we really hope that you will be actors in power sharing. And I know you are all very powerful persons. You have a lot of skills, knowledge, talents, and we hope that will really be part of the work that you are doing. Thank you.